What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and today we are going to be taking a look at a Geppetto game. I'm going to start off by casting a Shard of the Ice Queen and picking up a Mad Mim. Mad Mim's pretty good with some of the other stuff that you want to be doing on Geppetto anyways, playing some summons and things like that. We'll be hoping to pick up a Black Cat pretty soon, but a 1/4 it's not that bad for the first turn. Can trade with a Sherwood Sure Shot, can beat a Sherwood Sure Shot, and can trade with any other 2/2s. So this time we will be trading with the Sherwood Sure Shot. I actually didn't remember that that's what happened in the first combat, but pretty nice regardless. And then I think here I'll roll because Black Cat is just so good on Geppetto that unless I get a spell worth casting, I generally do like to just try to roll for that Black Cat on turn 2. Now we've got a 4/1 that resummons as a 6/3 and then still have our 1/4 in the back. So should be winning this combat and doing some nice stuff. I think Geppetto is still pretty strong, though he was much stronger on the patch where Pumpkin cost 5. This is actually a game on the patch where Pumpkin cost 5, but it's not going to be a Pumpkin-centric game, so I still thought that it was worth showcasing. We're not going to pick up any tier 5 pumpkins, though of course it does impact the lobby and it does impact how we play the game, so I do want to bring it up. I'll go for another Shard here, Shard of the Ice Queen, and we find another Mad Mim. After that I'll pick up a Sherwood Sure Shot, and it's nice to have some bonus attack against Pup, and I think we're still feeling pretty strong here with this double Black Cat. Oh, that was a quick battle. Let's rewind, and we can actually watch that. Oh, wow. Okay, so my opponent only had the 1 unit plus the support, so there we go. That's why that was such a quick one. Sherwood Sure Shot is just able to take it down. A pretty interesting turn here on 3.0 as we see a shop with no 3-drops. So I do still feel like we're pretty strong. I'll probably be able to get away with casting this for glory, and then I pick up the pair of Sherwood Sure Shots. I do think there's definitely a case to be made for taking the Minotaur, but Minotaur doesn't work well with the Mad Mim, so I do think it is better just to play the strongest board that we possibly can. This Fallen Angel is down to 30. They have fallen down to 32 health, but I do think it is still worth it to just try to play the strongest board possible. And doing this double Mad Mim setup with the Sherwood Sure Shots in 1 and 2 means that we'll at least get 1 bonus ranged attack for 5 damage, and that could be good in terms of being able to win the combat, and then we'll get a tier 3 unit for free from Geppetto. So let's see. Are they online? They are, because of their treasure going to be able to give 2 attack to everything, but that bonus 5 attack range shot is definitely working out nicely and going to allow us to win again and pick up a for glory against this Fallen Angel. Gives us an Ogre Princess, not bad. Don't love this shop, but I mean the stag is fine. We could put the stag into slot 2, and that way it's buffing up like an ogre and a Mad Mim as well. We could take the kidnap from there, playing up against Miri again. I do think rolling is probably better, and then we wind up rolling into a shop that still has a stag in it, and I click the Shepherd's Sling at first, but then I go to Corrupted Heartwood. It's going to give us a little bit of stats for this combat since I'm considering picking up this white stag already, plus a few more stats onto the Black Cat. And one of the reasons that I do this as well is because I am planning on playing an evil comp. And, I mean, I'm planning on playing some animals too, but both of those things can be true. And I think that this gives me an interesting build path for Geppetto, where now I can just pick up, like, anything, and then it's evil, and use that to easily transition from animals into pumpkin stuff, and should be pretty decent for us. We were close to tying this combat, but wind up taking 4 damage for our troubles. Yeah, we're actually pretty likely to win that one, but a little bit unlucky in the end. We can make use of this Wicked Witch because of the treasure that we have, so that's kind of cool. And then, what else are we looking for here? I don't really know. I mean, Mummy's fine. Yeah, Mummy's probably worth playing here in the Mad Mim slot. It's really good on the current board, so I think that's what we'll wind up doing is picking up this Mummy to complete the turn. But Ogre Princess has been, well, I guess it only got us the Witch, right? The Ogre Princess itself was from the For Glory. Opponent's going to have a Falling Stars to take out a few of our units, which is pretty awkward, but we get that Stag attack, and Stag attacking is usually just enough to win the combat, and my opponent didn't have much of a backline either. And we get the Ogre Princess Slay, and we get the For Glory trigger, so we get a Lucky, and we get a Nutcracker from the For Glory, because we just ranked up. So that is pretty sweet, and like I said, this is the patch where Pumpkin costs 5. That's going to inform some of our decisions here, just playing around with some of the ordering to see if I can get away with the ending right now. And I do think that the end is good, and I think I'll also probably want to pick up Princess Peep and Stag. Princess Peep is just really good on Geppetto, so I definitely want to play that because it just represents so much stats. It summons a bunch of 5/5s right now, but that will scale later into the game. Honestly, I do like this monster book a little bit too. We'd have to sell 5 things to pick up both of them. Probably just worth locking the monster book. I think that is what I am going to come to, the conclusion I'm going to come to, and then I'm going to grab this Stag. There's some interesting ways that we can play this with the Stags being able to support the Nutcracker. That's kind of what I'm going for. And then I'm going to be locking the monster book. It doesn't have a great way to play on this current board, but it's just really good with those pumpkin strats that I want to be running in a moment. And then also the Peep is good because it, well, it's evil. Or at least summons evil sheep with our treasure, and that is going to allow it to get supported by Wicked Witch as well. Unfortunately, our Nutcracker is not able to survive this, and we take 9 damage, but that's fine. We had 39 health because of our treasure as well. I'll sell out of the Black Cat to pick up this monster book. I guess I'll go for Genie's Wish first, get the treasure from Cindy, and yeah, Noble Steed seems fine. We have the Nutcracker. Excuse me. We've got the Nutcracker for the moment. And then I will pick up this monster book. And then we get to pick up some Evil Witches. So that's pretty good. We're going to hit Tier 5 next turn. I like all of these things because we are potentially rolling for Ancient Sarcophagus. That is the main thing that we're looking for, but Treasure Map is also pretty good. It is decent with the Nutcracker because Nutcracker combined with Noble Steed plus Treasure Map will get us a Tier 7 treasure, so that is pretty sweet. And then we're also going to be level 5 next turn, so maybe we could pick up some Tier 5 units and scale it that way. Scale the or not scale. I'm sorry. I was wondering, like, what am I trying to say here? What am I scaling? Nothing. We could get a Tier 7 treasure by combining 2 level 5 units. Sorry, I was thinking about some of the other stuff that's going to happen later in this game and exactly how we get there. And I don't know what I'm titling this video yet, if it's going to be a title that has a spoiler, but I will, I digress. I'll stop any spoiler-related talk. The Nutcracker is going to get its first trigger, and the Princess Peep just doing a lot of work for us. Just such a good unit on Geppetto. They're 50-50 there to tie the combat, but we are only going to take a little bit of damage. Now we're level 5. So now we can try to look for pumpkins, but I told you this isn't going to be a pumpkin game, despite looking like it has all of the makings of a really good pumpkin game right now. Things are going to pivot a little bit from there, and we get to pick up our first 9 Sea Terror right now. That is pretty sweet. We could use the Kraken to get some econ. I don't know if I want to Kraken Mad Mim or the Wicked Witch, but I just go for Kraken on the Mad Mim and then pick up 9 Sea Terror, and then we get to roll, and I'm not going to care about anything in this one. This is kind of tricky if I want to play Princess Peep or not. Like I've been saying, the Peep is just so good on Geppetto. But I do think I want to get this monster book in. It's probably better than 9 Sea Terror. Could move Peep to the back at this point as well. Though that's going to make it less likely to get affected by the support. But maybe that's fine. Just playing both of the stags, trying as much as we can to get this Nutcracker treasure, and then we also have the opportunity to just find a 9 Sea Terror next turn and potentially grab a treasure in that way. So these stags are going to get in and buff the Nutcracker pretty nice, but my opponent does have a Drac Saber, so that's giving them quite large units right now, and we're definitely going to be taking some damage on this one, but the peeps do some work. Actually, they don't. The combat RNG just doesn't work out super well for us there, but it's fine, all things considered. Another Princess Peep is potentially considerable there, again, just for the Ancient Sarcophagus, but I really want to find 9 Sea Terror, so I rip off this Masquerade Ball and find one of those, and then we can pick up Mirror Mirror, which is just fantastic on Geppetto. Awkwardly, the Nutcracker has not gotten any triggers in way too many combats, so yeah, that's been pretty awkward. Not even sure if I necessarily want to play the Nutcracker, but I don't think that we necessarily have other great options. Could potentially lock for this Gumblegore. Can't really sell for it this turn. I'd have to sell the chicken plus 3 other things, but the Gumblegore definitely has some potential there. We're just not going to get into it. I really want to find some pumpkins, like I said, because this is the patch where Pumpkin was on 5, which makes the content maybe not necessarily as applicable, but it is still a fun game that I wanted to show off. We'll put the Nutcracker on the Evil Witch to maybe potentially, I mean, a tier 5 treasure could still be great. A Mimic Chest would be absolutely fabulous still to be able to pick up with Mirror Mirror, because yeah, that's just quite good. So let's see, how is the monster book? Obviously, all of this stuff with Geppetto is pretty good. Getting to give everything +5 helps a lot. Nutcracker just goes down to my opponent's Nutcracker, though, unfortunately, and is going to mean that we do not get any closer to getting a new cheap treasure or a tier 5 treasure from that. We will summon some sheep, though, and the sheep are good for us here. They're able to clean up a little bit, though. 9 Sea Terror would have had no problem cleaning up as well, and hopefully we can make something sweet happen now. Get to pick up a white stag, look for and find an Ancient Sarcophagus. So that's a pretty big power spike. I still kind of want the Noble Steed, so I will toss the other treasure, and then I realize that makes me have a lot less evil units. So definitely a little bit awkward there, but here's another great evil unit and one that works well with Mirror Mirror. We will pick up another monster book, and as much as I'd like to use the Nutcracker, it's not super fantastic for us. Excuse me. So, I don't know. Might just have to abandon it, and then I just wind up full rolling down, basically. Cat's Call is really, really good with Geppetto. I don't know if I need it here, but it's a huge power spike just to ensure that we 100% win the combat this turn. and I'm fine with cashing in my golden chicken for that. From here, I lock Medusa because Medusas are pretty good with Mirror Mirror as well. Just getting to attack with it and then potentially attack again, or attack if it gets like attacked into or something like that. So I think that is going to be good for us here. And this Fallen Angel is like decently strong. I'm really hoping that these monster books can cast some falling stars as well. That's why we've still got the Nutcracker in. And it's possible, but I don't think that we are going to get there. It does look like we are going to be good enough to win this combat, though. So that's also pretty important, just as far as our overall success. And then next turn we'll be level 6. I'd still like to try to find some pumpkins, though the pumpkin time is kind of past us at this point. And this was looking kind of close, actually. The Princess Peep would have done it. Again, Princess Peep just so good on Geppetto. We do get 1 falling stars, but nothing super exciting from this combat. But now we are level 6, so I definitely want to pick up this Medusa, and then I'm looking for pumpkins, and I'm looking for Hercules. And that's basically it at this point. But I do think I have to take this True Love's Kiss. It's just too good on INC Terra not to cast. And I get a good boy. And I thought that we were going to be playing this evil comp, but I think that this is just too good on Mirror Mirror Geppetto, an upgraded good boy. We're up in XP against the rest of the lobby. I think that it's worth pivoting. And I even think that it's worth pivoting in the top 4 when the game is almost over. And that's why I think that this game is so interesting to showcase and talk about, because we're able to quite quickly pivot over to this good boy comp, picking up this bear stain here, and make really good work out of it. Now we can finally activate the Nutcracker, now that we've got this good boy to pump it up. That's going to be a lot more pumps for the good boy. And then we're also going to be resummoning the good boy with Geppetto and with Bearstain. So it's going to come back as a 3/3, a 9/9, a 32/32. Plus we're casting a bunch of spells, and then if good boy dies again, that is just going to pump everything even more. We might not even get to the Nutcracker because we are just going to beat my opponent so badly, but the Falling Stars does give the Nutcracker a trigger, so now the Nutcracker only has to do combat with one thing and not get like sniped by Sherwood Sure Shot somehow, but I don't really even see that happening. We just have way too much stats here on the board. Opponent does have her duplicator Juliet, but that's not going to be enough. And now we get a tier 5 treasure, and honestly I'm just going to toss the sarcophagus at this point and hang on to the questing treasure, because I'd like to still potentially pick up a Hercules and do some work with that. So our tier 5 treasure options are not too crazy. Helm could work with the good boy, but it'd be really awkward because we're going to have to get some other units this turn. I think we just take Ambrosia. And Ambrosia on the Bearstein, I think, is going to be good enough. And yeah, we'll just toss Ancient Sarcophagus here. Now we've got an upgraded Bearstain, so yeah, things are looking pretty good. I'll take a Princess Peep here because Princess Peep is just so good with Geppetto. And then I think I go for Gigantify, just a bunch more stats on Good Boy, and we're firmly in the Good Boy camp now. Could go for the Sherwood Sure Shot, but going to decide against it. And then one thing I will do here, I believe, is switch the Nutcracker with the Princess Peep. Oh, maybe I don't. Oh, okay. I actually keep the Princess Peep in the front line. Yeah, Nutcracker for Princess Peep could have been a reasonable call, but I don't think it's going to matter too much here. We will, I guess we would have attacked into it anyways, but yeah, it doesn't really matter too much. Hopefully our good boy can die. We avoided attacking into our opponent's Rotten Applewood, so that is really good. And then it's going to die to Sarcophagus and get a 57-71 good boy now that we've got an Ambrosia'd Bear Stain. And then we get a Piggo off on, I believe what was their pumpkin, but this is a pretty well set up Celestial Tiger here, and we're making this game look not even close as our good boy now gets to pump our whole board again. Yeah, this is Celestial Tiger with Drac Saber, which is just meh, and Pumpkin plus doubled up Ancient Sark. Apologies if I repeat myself, just had a small camera issue, but I don't think I want to pick up Princess Peep here. It's just better to play the two individual Princess Peep than to combine them. But Court Wizard is definitely what we're looking for. It's really good with Good Boy and with all of the princesses and princes that we have, and Mirror Mirror. And game really wants to give us some Princess Peep. Not going to purchase any Peep today, though. And then we find another Court Wizard. We also finally see a pumpkin, but we are totally beyond that. And we will pick up the Court Wizard here, selling the Stag. And then I think it's probably even worth it to go for the Toil and Trouble. It's not a super high impact spell, but it's probably worth selling off the monster books for. If it lands onto the good boy, that is just so much stats. And even if it doesn't, if it lands on the Bear Stain or the Court Wizards or even anything else, but if it lands on anything else in the back line, then that's a lot of survivability to potentially from some spells like could help the Bear Stain. Well, 22, it's not really going to help too much, but, you know, maybe my opponent has some other ancient sarcophaguses and things like that. You know, it could certainly be useful against that. And we get it on both of the Court Wizards. So now both Court Wizards can survive an ancient sarcophagus. So that's probably pretty relevant. Court Wizards are going to get their triggers here, but the good boy actually has not died yet. However, when this good boy does eventually die, now it's going to resummon as a 51-71 again because of the upgraded Bear Stain, but also now you're going to see how powerful these Court Wizards are with this good boy buff, just getting to shred through my opponent's lineup here. And it's even hard for them really just to get through the front line because of the Geppetto and Mirror Mirror and all that stuff. We're summoning 33 sheep, and that's without any good boy buffs and stuff. So yeah, Princess Peep just continuing to be quite good on Geppetto, and that's going to allow us to beat up this Horde Dragon, take them down to 7. And from here, I'm really looking for another good boy. That's definitely the best thing that we can pick up. And I do think, yeah, putting a, what's the name of that spell? Fortify? Something like that. Putting some spells on the good boy, giving it a little bit more health is definitely going to be useful as well. Then I find the Hercules, and we could sell 3 things for it. We're up against the Ghost. Let's go for it. I'm going to sell off all of my princesses and princes and play this good boy. And we have an interesting opportunity here, too, to play the Bear Stain in the front. And that could potentially be worth it, just because then we'll get the Bear Stain mirrored, and that gives us like another unit for free. I think that it's a questionable play, to be sure. I think I do go for it, but I do it at the last second, which means that I'm not considering the Ambrosia. Yeah, okay, I do very quickly throw the Bear Stain into the front row at the last second. I just wanted to make sure that we're playing like a strong enough board, and I should have realized that this meant we were losing the Ambrosia spot too. It's a little bit risky, but we're playing up against the Ghost, and honestly, it looks like it's going to work out for us. The Hercules is getting up to 30. Unfortunately, it gets sniped by the Sherwood Shore Shot, but it gets really close to activating against my opponent there. So pretty sweet stuff. The second Hercules is just going to die, but going to mean that we are only 1 Hercules hit away from getting another tier 7 treasure. So that could be really sweet and get us something fun. But we're also potentially in the finals now. So it might not matter too much because this might be the last game. But it's good, like, if we lose... Oh, definitely want to pick up Princess Peep here because that is just good on Geppetto and good with our board. We'll start to rebuild our board after deleting it some, and then we get to pick up another Princess Peep. So pretty sweet. Good with Geppetto, good with our board, and now we've rebuilt. Now we've got a full build again. We won't be able to pick up this Bear Stain because we just spent so much gold picking up this Princess Peep, but here's how I look at it. We are either going to win this combat, at which point, great, we won, or we lose, we get scammed in some capacity. Maybe our good boy attacks into the Rotten Applewood, maybe they do some other funky stuff, and then we get a tier 7 treasure, probably. So either way, we are probably walking away from this next combat either with a win or a nice little tier 7 treasure, which could potentially be like Magic Sword, Ambrosia. What else could we get that would be really good? Those would be the two main tier 7s. It is a little bit silly because there's probably better tier 6s for us to find, like Spear of Achilles or Owls, but no matter. This combat actually starts off really, really well for my opponent. Good boy attacks into Applewood, a spell hits the Court Wizard, and then Dragon takes down the Court Wizard, but we get that Herc trigger. So regardless of what happens here, we are going to be walking away with a tier 7 treasure. My opponent attacking into the Peep a little bit in an annoying way, but now we're really just relying on Princess Peep. And I've been saying this all game, kind of on purpose, that Princess Peep is just really good with Geppetto. And here's why. It's just going to summon 33 33s. And that's actually, like, pretty big. To just be able to continually spam the board with a bunch of 33s, we're going to be making bigger units than their pumpkin. And we're going to be able to trade with the Queen of Hearts. So, yeah, all of these really adding up. We're even giving my opponent a bunch of stats with each sheep that dies because they've got Drac Saber Mimic Chest. And it really doesn't matter. We're going to be able to rely on this Princess Peep to take my opponent down. It's going to be a close one. It's definitely going to be a close one. But we are going to... Oh, wow, we tie this one? Oh, I didn't remember that part of this game. Okay, so we got another combat. I legitimately did not remember this part of the game, but we do get to pick up either a Magic Sword or a Fairy Queen's Wand. I gotta feel like, oh, I see. I am thinking about the Fairy Queen's Wand because of the +5 health that it will give to Good Boy. I don't think that the 100 attack is going to matter, and honestly, I like that. Just to be able to give a little bit more health to Good Boy, I think is potentially going to be the only thing that matters. Also, maybe this combat won't go as poorly for us, and maybe we'll also pick up another Good Boy. Don't want to dream. Definitely don't want to dream off Geppetto, but okay. Picking up another Good Boy is definitely going to make us considerably stronger. We could take this Anthem if we really wanted something. I think I will probably sell my chicken and roll and potentially try to find like a sugar and spice, or maybe I'm just done and willing to potentially trade it. I did not remember that part of the game. I remembered, I mean, this is a crazy game, pivoting totally from the Ancient Sarcophagus into this Good Boy build. But I did not remember that we got additional dust. If we win, I don't even know that we win or not, but I do feel like we're pretty strong. We avoided hitting the Rotten Applewood, which is half the battle. They are going to take out one of our Court Wizards with the Doom Breath, and the other Court Wizard is down to 3, so things are getting a little bit dicey, but Good Boy is going to pump Good Boy as well as itself as it resummons 59-49. That's so good for a unit that we just purchased. With like no other stats on it. This Court Wizard really, really tiny in the back, but all of these good boys are so strong. Our bear stand is going to die, which is a little bit unfortunate. My opponent's got a black cat with a bunch of pumpkins, but this good boy is still going to come back as a 54-62, which should be enough stats, assuming we can avoid the scam from my opponent's pumpkin. And it's all just going to come down to what is in the pumpkin at this point. We're going to make a few more sheep, just 12 12s at this point, but the good boy will be able to pump them up. And that was actually a really good hit. A 1 health good boy traded with like a 50 pumpkin. And no scams from my opponent, plus a 100 good boy still battling here. Definitely means that we are going to be able to get the win, despite my opponent putting together a triple Ancient Sarcophagus combo in the end game. We just did way too much with this good boy Mirror Geppetto, and that's going to be enough to get a win exactly, hitting my opponent for 11 thanks to Princess Peep, which is just so good on Geppetto. This game definitely, if nothing else, made a really strong showing for Princess Peep, using it as an evil unit at the beginning of the game, and then using it to quite great fashion at the end. Of course, the good boys helped a little bit too. But that's going to be it for me today. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.